Hello everybody, MegaZardX here, back at it again to give you another very exciting collection reflection video where I take the time out to just go through my whole entire gaming library. It could be a game, could be a console, or it could be a limited edition. But today we're going to be talking about none other than Donkey Kong Country Returns. Returns. Alright, no, not necessarily that many returns though, but at least with the Switch version, I like to think about it as Donkey Kong Country Returns. Because like this is like literally the third release for this game. In general though, because remember the game originally came out on the Nintendo Wii. Then they managed to put out a 3D version on the Nintendo 3DS, and here we are with the HD remaster now on the Nintendo Switch though. So I figured, hey, they've been trying to give Donkey Kong a bit more love, but just not enough love to where they're going to give him a brand new game though. So I'm going to have to wheel this new Donkey Kong game into experience by finally talking about, everything that's like good about this game, bad about what they've been doing with the series history here as of late though, and I don't know, everything else. I don't know what the direction of this video will go with, but I promise I'm going to still try to reminisce and give you all the good aspects about this game. The game is not bad. I'm just worried about Nintendo's decision making as of late though, but let's go ahead and jump up in this video though. But if you hadn't already done so, make sure to go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date. All things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing. And if you're curious, still wants to support the channel just a little bit more, then feel free to hit that join link down below. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump straight up into this video. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Man, oh man. Let's just go ahead and rewind the clock back. What was it? To like the early Wii days or whatever though. In terms of my Donkey Kong experience, I grew up playing, Donkey Kongs, a little bit in the arcades, a whole bunch within like the classic Donkey Kong experience that you had on the NES and stuff. Donkey Kong Jr. a little bit though. And then I remember when I was like roughly around the age of like 7 or 8 and I had my Game Boy Advance and stuff, I remember playing the heck out of Donkey Kong Country 2, which I would still argue is like one of my most favorite Donkey Kong games or just platforming games in general. To this day, it's definitely or easily in a top 5 list right there. You can't go wrong with it. I know some people argue and say, well, the Super Nintendo version is better than the Game Boy Advance one, but the Game Boy Advance allowed you to save anywhere and stuff like that, added some modern convenience and stuff, like filled in the story beat with a little bit of cutscenes and stuff. So I really adore the GBA version just in general though. I know the sound files aren't necessarily as great, but that's just me. Then you had over here Donkey Kong Country 3, which introduced Kiddy Kong as well. I wasn't necessarily a big fan of it though, but it's still an okay game at best. And then fast forward, we did not have anything in terms of the Donkey Kong Country games beyond Donkey Kong Country 3 for the longest time. And I remember being a kid with a Wii or whatever though, and I saw the announcement of, hey, there's a brand new Donkey Kong Country game, hence the whole reason why it's called Donkey Kong Country Returns, because it's finally returning after X amount of years. I was like, sign me up day one though. And I managed to get this, I don't know if it was a birthday gift or a Christmas gift or something like that, but I managed to get the game and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I had to rotate, like it wasn't just me playing this. I think my brother, maybe my sister a little bit though. We were trying to go back and forth up on this thing though. And I was like, hey, look, I've been waiting for this game for a hot minute though. I'm going to beat this game before you beat it. And that's just going to how it's going to rock in this house though. But yeah, I was going through and playing this game and I was having a blast of a time. Now granted, this is not necessarily one of the easiest things. Like Donkey Kong Country 2 wasn't even necessarily an easy game to begin with either though. But Donkey Kong Country Returns, it sure enough wasn't pulling back its punches though. Thankfully, it's not as tough as Tropical Freeze that we managed to get in the Wii U a little later on beyond this though. But it still came with its fair enough challenges though. I didn't necessarily go through and 100% the game to the best of my knowledge. I don't think I did, because that required you getting all the Kong letters and stuff. You could do the puzzle pieces, but look, I'm not necessarily a big fan of all the puzzle pieces. That just ain't my thing though. But if I'm rocking and getting all the Kong letters so I can unlock every level, hey, I'm doing some stuff right though. But I remember the main draw that you had with this game is the inclusion of all the different motion controls you can do up on here though. So like for example, if you wanted to, do a roll with Donkey Kong, you have to shake the Wii remote a little bit though. Or if you want to do like your little ground pounds or whatever though, like you will wave the Wii remote and the nunchuk back and forth though. I think if you wanted to, blow wind and like blow out a flower or a dandelion or something, you have to hold down on the stick and then shake your Wii remote or whatever though. So I like doing all of that stuff. It kind of felt like I was one with Donkey Kong, and I think they were kind of going for that vibe that you kind of have like Donkey Kong Jungle Beat back on the GameCube where you're banging on the bongos and stuff like that. Just kind of trying to immerse yourself in that Donkey Kong aspect and be like, look, I'm DK and I'm gonna rock your world or whatever though. I love that aspect of it though. Even though some people might not necessarily be like the biggest motion control people. I mean, look, I thought it was fun. And if you can't get through the game without playing through with motion controls, that's just a you problem though. Granted, if for some reason if you couldn't or you just simply weren't even going to put up with it though, they managed to get rid of those features in future releases such as Donkey Kong Country Returns on the 3D. Obviously it being on the 3DS, all you had is button controls, which they did manage to add in additional levels. I think is what it's going to be on the final world when you're playing through this game. And then obviously those levels carried over into the HD version as well. So I'm really looking forward to whenever I finally get to the end of the game. I think I'm roughly at the halfway point of me playing through this game again for me to see those brand new levels though. But I did manage to beat the game originally on the Wii back in the day though. But overall, I love this game. Like the fact that you're able to tag team between yourself being Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. I do kind of wish that you were actually able to switch and actually play as Diddy Kong. The only way how you really could do that is if you're playing with two people at the same time and player two is playing as Diddy Kong only. Like he would, even Diddy Kong gets to fire his like little peanut gun and stuff. I just wish that you can kind of switch back and forth instead of always having to be Donkey Kong, but that's just the way how the game is built around. And I guess that's like my only little tidbit on it though. The bosses and stuff, they were okay, a little creative and stuff, not necessarily out there, maybe not as great in terms of like the bosses that we managed to get in Tropical Freeze though, but regardless, I still say that's cool enough though. The only thing I kind of really miss is like the whole Kremlins, like, King K. Rool and all of his baddies and stuff. I wish that they would have been able to carry that mess over. I guess there's some complications between like Nintendo and Rare, and I think that's King K. Rool is closely regarded to the Rare side with the company whenever they were going through making the Returns games though. But I'm just glad that we managed to get King K. Rool included in Super Smash Brothers. Like that was just a pipe dream in and of itself though. But I mean, outside of that, I thought it was a nice experience. The Tiki creatures, they were okay. They weren't necessarily like the funnest or the most creative things out there though. I mean, literally, like all they were doing is just going around the whole entire island, brainwashing all these different animals. Is take this banana horde, and ever since then, Donkey Kong and Diddy, they're just going after all these different tikis and stuff, and that's just the major premise of it, though. But I do like the cool inclusion, like with the minecart levels. Like we had minecart stuff back within the original Returns trilogy, but we didn't also manage to get like the inclusion, like the barrel rides and stuff like that, where it makes that music like down 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 down. I mean, I love the music as well. I think it's a really great spread. And honestly, you can't go wrong with DKC Returns. If you hadn't played it before, I still highly recommend going through and playing the HD version, because that way you just get best of all content. And I know some people were complaining about the graphics and stuff, like it's kind of missing some stuff though. But me personally going through and playing through it, it's not as bad as what people are making it out to be though. But I noticed there are maybe a few different flaws up in there though. But outside of that, that's all I got to say about Donkey Kong Country Returns. But you got to let me know down in the comment section down below what all did you think about this game though. And are you excited about playing it again for what might be the 4th or the 5th time or whatever though? Or are you just never managed to play it before, so you need to play it at least for the first time now? I highly recommend it because it's a really good platformer game. Nintendo, just listen here real quick. Just listen the gosh dang last second of this video. I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't give me a brand new Donkey Kong game, so help me, I will come through this thing, I will knock on the door at Nintendo of America and then hitch a plane over there and get all the way over there to Nintendo Japan. Look, it's about gosh dang time we had a brand new Donkey Kong game. It's been well over a decade since Tropical Freeze, and all you've been doing is releasing Tropical Freeze and Returns for the 3rd time in a row, and you still haven't gave my boy DK another brand new game. Gosh dang it, if you don't give it to me within the Nintendo Switch 2 era, there's gonna be riots on the street. Riots. Okay, let's pretend like y'all didn't hear all of that and you didn't hear that big long tangent though. That's gonna basically do it in terms of today's video though. So if you really like this, make sure you go and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell to stay up to date on all things video game related I feel like talking about and discussing those. So remember y'all, until our video I make next, see y'all.